You know, one thing that's always driven me nuts in every shop that I've ever worked in are tape measures. I don't care how many you have, they're never where they're supposed to be. And in fact, the shop seems to just eat them. I'm not sure where they go, but you never can find them. And so the other day I was back cutting some material for turning on the lathe, and I couldn't find a tape measure back in our saw area. Now, one thing that we've been doing a lot more of is putting labels on it saying where it goes. So I wrote saw all over this one, but it made me think, well, if we had a place for it like we do for the lathe and for some of the other pieces of equipment, maybe it wouldn't run off so easily. So I 3D printed this thing. So this says tape measure, Sharpie, and paint marker or paint pen, and it's a place for each of those things. So I can put a paint pen in there, I can put a Sharpie in there, and then that little clip holds the tape measure. So we're gonna try this and see how it works. This is, to me, one of the great things about 3D printing. This took me maybe 5 minutes to put this design together in Fusion 360. It took a little over an hour to print, and it's this red sparkly filament because we had some left over and we don't really use it for a lot. So we're going to go mount this on the wall by the saw area, and hopefully we won't ever have a problem with that again. So let's go put it up. So I was back here looking at where this should go, and mounting it on the wall is a long reach. I don't really like that. So I think we're gonna mount it right here, next to where the material feeds into the saws. I thought about mounting it between the saws, but that's kind of low and maybe a little hard to get to. Also, it might fill up with chips and the pin holders. So I think we'll mount it here. The only risk I can see is if a piece of material gets taken off, it could hit the top of these and maybe break this, but it's a 3D print. It'd be cheap to change. And I don't really think that's gonna happen because this is a bumper rail to keep material from rolling off. So let's grab my favorite tool, which is a Milwaukee, and let's put this thing up. So really, it didn't take me very long to do this. In fact, it took longer to get the camera out and do all of this than to design, print, and mount this. Overall, I think it's a really good solution. It's gonna help us not have to make as many trips back and forth. And that's what it's all about, is those lean, those 2-minute improvements that we can make where it helps stretch the research dollars further, because the amount of funding that's out there is limited and the amount of us that are here are very limited. So we need to make every minute and every dollar count, and we do that by becoming more efficient. Be sure down in the comments below to tell us what your favorite improvements that you've made in your shop or lab are. They can be something simple like this or something complex. Just what saves you time and frustration, what bugged you, and how did you fix it?